Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics. Today we are discussing the pre-compose feature, which can be used for several reasons, and I will show you, well, why and how it's done. Okay, here we are in Adobe After Effects, and as you can see, I drew up a little bit of a tree with leaves, and well, my point of this tutorial is just to show you how to pre-compose and why we should use it. And well, the pre-compose feature, which is by the way found in a layer pre-compose, there it is, can be used to move certain parts of your original composition into a new composition, and then you use the new composition you made in your original composition. So basically I used this quite a lot in previous previous designs. So if you want to have some real-world examples, yeah, you should just watch there. I use it virtually every time. So here, for example, if we look at our composition here on the bottom left, we have a lot of greens, deep green solids, which are our leaves here. And we might want to get rid of them because it gets really messy, especially if we want to add even more on this. And we can use that, or we can do that by just selecting all the layers as I did there. So you just click on one of them. You just click on the top or the bottom one, hold shift, you click on the other one, or you just use your control key to select whatever you want to select or deselect. Then you go to layer, pre-compose, and then you get this. Sometimes you have the leave all attributes in comp 1 on as well. You can give it a name, so let's call it leaves. And then it says, I'm selecting here, move all attributes into the new composition. And it doesn't open it automatically. There was a little box where you could check if you wanted to. You can always double click on this. It will open it. You can edit them here. And yeah, that will just be that. So let's say that, yeah, this is all good and such. It still works. It now is way less cluttered. But let's say we wanted to add an animation to these leaves. Let's say we wanted them to grow over time. So how do I do that? Because in this one, I can't animate this anymore because, well, the only transforms I still have are basically for the entire layer. So if I move this, the entire layer will move. Then in this one, you can see that they're all separate objects. So that would not be useful. So what we should have done was make one of them into a pre-composition. Move. If you use move here, then it will transfer the mask into the new composition, which we'll see right here. There's your mask, and it will actually transform that as well. If we make a pre-composition from this one, so it's exactly the same one, it's just on a different position, and we hit pre-compose but we don't move, then you will see that the mask will stay here. I'll show you in a moment. But if we open it, then it will just be, well, green. It's only copying the color, not the mask. So the mask will still be in here for this one. If I hit M, you can see that. If I hit M on this one, nothing happens. Well, I can show you this one only has a transform, whereas this one has a mask, mask 1, and then a transform. So, okay, let's do this the way it's supposed to be done. I'm first going to delete this one. So just hit delete. Yes, we want to delete that. We're going to go to this one. This is, well, single leaf, we're going to call this. You can, of course, just rename your compositions here. I'm going to delete all of this, by the way, well, including that. So this one is now empty, the leaves, which means that our tree is also empty. But let's say this is where we started. We can use it, or look at the mask path. We can use or look at the anchor point, because we want to match the anchor point with this. And then we're going to scale it over time to become bigger. Actually, our anchor point is right there, so it's actually not too bad of a place. Let's move it a little bit though. I'm going to set this back to 100. Hit our anchor point, put it in the right position. Let's say over here. That's where I want my thing to start growing. And then let's reset the position just for the fun of it. Right click on the name and then you can reset it. So what this does now is we can animate this over time. We want to animate the scale to be like this. So yeah, I'm going to set it to 0 here. And let's just type it in. You can set it to 0 here and then to 100% over here. So what this does is this object is now the only one in this composition. So if we go to leaves and if we just put in the a single leaf, it will just drop that in, and hopefully that will actually show us as well. Oh yeah, right, we're at time 0. So we'll just throw it in, and yeah, you can see that it still grows. But yeah, we don't have the tree here, so we're not going to throw it in here. We're going to in fact throw the leaves in here. So these leaves should just go. So we're going to do that later. Single leaf. What did I do? Oh, there you go. Single leaf. We're going to input that here, and obviously we're going to stand right here. We're going to position this one. We're going to duplicate it and position that one. I'm just going to make a couple of leaves. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have a bunch of leaves now, and the beauty of it is they all grow. So now we're going to do the same thing, because now you can see what a mess this can become. We have 18 leaves, and they really don't do anything except take up space in our composition and make it just very inconvenient for us. So what we do is we're going to pre-compose these now. So these are already compositions, and we're now going to pre-compose them into their own compositions. I'm going to call it leaves once again. So yeah, now we have 2 leaf compositions, but yeah, well, that's the way it is currently. It doesn't matter. I should have deleted the other one, of course. But I think this one should be deleted. Yep. Delete. There you go. So what we now have is we have our tree with growing leaves, and all we have is one line for the leaves. So all of this, of course, can be pre-composed into the background, because that's, oh no, that's not what it is. These are the background. Yeah, actually, if I wanted to move this over here to make more of a, let's call it realistic effect, where the tree is actually standing in the ground. Yeah, so then we couldn't pre-compose them, but yeah, everything on the background could be pre-composed as well. It's not a problem. However many you have, you can work with as many as you want. So the leaves are now in one layer. If we open that layer, we will see that it has a bunch of compositions in it. The compositions do nothing on their own. Like, they have no effects on them, no transforms, no anything. But every one of them is a copy of this one. And this one does have some stuff on it. So it's basically composition in a composition in a composition. And well, that's the way pre-composing works. So it is just a method of keeping your stuff here. So in this case, it is to keep it clear. So to make one line out of these 18, I believe, yeah. So we had 18, it becomes one line now, so it doesn't clutter our composition where we're trying to design our effect. And then here we used it to get the same effect that we only wanted to create once on all of these. Of course, you can also do it like this. You can take this one and then copy it and copy it and copy it and copy it. But yeah, that is just not as efficient as just making one effect and putting it into a pre-composition, because now, here, let's show you the difference. This and moving them around would do exactly the same as the other one. But what now if I want to change the effect to not be, what was it, 3 seconds, but we want to make it 4 seconds. So at this point, I would have to take every single one of these, because this one won't get affected. So the effect would have to be scaled on each and every one of them, which is of course very tedious. Whereas if I just delete these, yeah, if I now go, so now this one goes to 4 seconds. If I go to this, then this one will also go to 4 seconds. See, it used to be 3, now it's 4, because these are all copies of this one. It's really easy. I hope people understand why it's so necessary to learn this. And you can, by the way, if you want to, also just edit these in here. So yeah, if you want to, you can actually just select one of them. Okay, it's apparently this one. And then, oh, that's the bottom one. You can rotate this and it will still work. It will still grow. So the original transform that you made on this will also be applied, but it will be combined with whatever you do on this layer and whatever you do on this layer. Just keep in mind that here you can't address the single leaves anymore. Here you can address the single leaves, but you can't address the original rotation, or sorry, scaling. And here you can address the original scaling, but you can't address the overall position, because if I move this one, so if I say move it to here, then yeah, everything will move with it, because the whatever you do to this one will also affect everything in the other layers. So I hope that's clear. If it's not clear, please leave me a comment and tell me what you need more to have explained more. And yeah, for the rest, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and I will see you next time.